we'll get back to you in just a moment. You know, I know that we live in a very fast-moving, fast-paced world, and it was with that in mind that when our next guest hit me up regarding an update on something that happened just a week ago, I was obviously all over it. It was only a week ago that the nasty storms came through the state of Tennessee, leveling portions of Columbia with an EF3 level tornado and upsetting many lives and killing one individual and severely injuring another. And with that in mind, Representative Scott Cepicky, who I had the opportunity to see this past Saturday as he was getting ready to get out and work his district and make sure everybody's safe and sound, had an update. And I thought, well, come on. And Scott said, well, I'll be in town. And I said, come by. And he said, okay. And here he is. Hey, Scott.
Thanks, Matt. Been a long week.
No, I mean, and we live in such a fast-moving, news-based world where headline after headline kind of overwhelms. I think it's easy for those of us that were not directly impacted to kind of move on and think, oh, well, all is well and lives are back to normal. Lives are not back to normal, and they're not going to be back to normal for a long time.
Yeah, you're right. We had over 240 homes have been affected on this tornado. 25 were totally destroyed. Another 37 have severe damage to them. You talked about the one loss of life, the other one's severe, but you see these things on TV, Matt, and when you see them in person and you walk and you talk to people, the amount of pain and suffering is going to be here in Maury County for a long time. I had a conversation with an elderly lady sitting on her porch talking with her about it, and her home was damaged a little bit, and she was talking to me about, how the home can be fixed, Scott. She said, we can fix the home. But then she started to walk me around her yard and point to the destroyed trees in her yard. One of them she pointed to, said, this is the tree my husband and I planted over 50 years ago when we moved in. And then the next tree over here, Scott, is the one when our kids used to sit on the swing and swing on the tree. And then these 5 trees in a row over here that are all gone, these are the ones that each one of our kids graduated high school. When you see the pictures, this is what I can tell you what it looks like. It looks like about a giant weed whacker, 900 yards wide for 12 miles, cut everything off 12 foot high. Mm-hmm. Every tree, house, roof for 12 miles. The piles of trees that are stacked on the road to be taken away, and TDOT, the highway department have done a fantastic job. Sheriff's department, I'm telling you, this is going to go down as a textbook response to a disaster of a tornado. It was incredible to see.
I don't know what your experience was last Wednesday evening. While Dan and Brian, Ken Weaver, and others were on air, I was traveling back from a vacation. I went to see my niece graduate college. And I had no idea that, I knew once I started listening to 99.7 that it was bad, and I knew that they believed that a tornado would touch town. But when I crossed over exit 46 on I-65, and then I saw some of the devastation to my left going north, and the numbers, what I was struck by, it was still an active situation. The tornado was maybe an hour old. There was still a thunderstorm moving through the area. All lights were off. All traffic was stopped southbound. The number of emergency responders, firefighters, police officers, EMTs, obviously. There was a life flight helicopter in the air in a thunderstorm attempting to land. The van that was missing the occupant, and they didn't know where he was for some time. I saw that on the side of the road. But what I was struck with is in the distance, over the valley there, you could see on the ridge line in a neighborhood hundreds of police cars, hundreds of firefighters. And I got chills then, and I get chills now thinking about the first responders that get out not after the storm, in the middle of the storm. Correct. In an effort to try to save lives and to help people, fellow Tennesseans.
As I was on my way to the command center there at the New Lucia Church of Christ, the power companies were already in their bucket trucks trying to restore power the best they could while lightning was hitting all around us. The thunderstorm you talked about, the emergency rescue crews were out already. And here's the problem. So many trees were blown down across the roads that they couldn't drive in there. Mm-hmm. They had to basically walk their way in there along 12 miles, going door to door looking for people, trying to help them, looking and trying to find people. And then once they found people who were injured, they were creating makeshift stretchers to get them out. The dedication, and, you hear about this all the time. We love our EMS and our first responders. When you see them in action and their facial expressions of they realize that their job is now life and death to people, and they're going into places where people are coming out of or just trying to figure out where they are, it was something to see. And I'll remember this for the rest of my life, of just how everybody came together, worked together, and then the response from the communities of all of the food, the water, the clothes, anything that people needed has been flowing into Maury County for the last week, setting up places for people who just want to get a meal to go get a meal. Just very proud of my community, the county, the southern middle Tennessee, and then just being a Tennessean.
It's the way that it should be done.
Yeah.
As local as possible. I mean, sadly, and I'm not having a debate right now about the Federal Emergency Management Agency, but I will tell you it's been my experience over the 25 years that I've done this, that neighbors help neighbors. They get involved. Local communities help neighbors. We get involved. Communities that were not directly impacted get on it and get involved. Mm-hmm. And typically when the federal government comes in, everything starts getting upset and everything gets topsy-turvy. All they bring with them is an open checkbook. Mm-hmm. And I know that that is some of what people need. And I'm not necessarily debating that, but I'm just telling you, I love it when I see it done the right way, where neighbors get their chainsaws out and open up their hearts and their wallets and help their fellow neighbors in an event like this.
You're right. That's the one thing we're looking from FEMA, is just to allow us to declare it so that we can get reimbursed for all the effort that everybody's putting forth. I'm going to give out 2 phone numbers if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
If you are looking to help and clean up in Maury County, now you don't have to get certified to go out there, but I will tell you this. Be very careful, because there are trees down everywhere and these trees are under pressure. But if you want to help out, call 615-488-1875, 615-488-1875. And if you know anybody has been affected by this and need a place to stay, you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS, 1-800-RED-CROSS, and they will direct you to the proper place to go. And then, like I said, 240 homes, 25 destroyed, 37 major. It was, like you said, an EF3, 140 mile an hour winds, 900 yards wide.
What do people need?
Love, caring. I've
probably some time,
just some
healing.
time. The houses will get fixed. Now, the loss of life I can't bring back, but everything else, it'll get fixed. But Matt, there's going to be a scar on Maury County for 60, 70 years as the trees.
Yeah, you'll see it.
Regrow. You're going to see it for 60 or 70 years. And I'll show you pictures when we're done here, but you cannot imagine the amount of trees that have been destroyed that are going to have to be taken away so that people can start to get their lives back. So you can start to travel the roads without worrying about trees falling on you. Mm-hmm. So tremendous response. Very proud of Tennessee, Maury County, the first responders, and just the average citizens that showed up to say, I'm here to help.
We had a gentleman call us by the name of Brian who called the day after the event happened and said that he was the nephew of the woman that lost her life. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't do a lot with it then because he was asking us to go to a GoFundMe, and I just have a certain level of responsibility because, sad as it is to say, there's some people that try to take advantage in situations like this. Well, it turns out that Brian is, in fact, the nephew of Cheryl Lovett, mm-hmm. Who died in the event, the one confirmed tragedy in Maury County. And Bree Lovett's home was the home that was destroyed. That's Cheryl Lovett's daughter. Mm-hmm. And they have a GoFundMe, and I want to encourage people to go to GoFundMe and to give as you can. Just go to GoFundMe and type in Bree Lovett, BrieLovetT is her name. If you type that in, you should get right there. They sadly did not have insurance on the home, mm-hmm. and they're in need. And anything you can do to donate, if you feel compelled, just read the story for yourself, and understand that this is a family member of ours. This is a community member of ours. This is one of our neighbors. This is one of our loved ones. And this is what we do. This is what we do in the South. This is what we do in Tennessee. Just give as you can. And they've raised about $15,000 of their goal of $25,000. They're trying to make sure that Bree's daughter gets to graduate properly, that they have a place to stay while they try to figure out what next steps are. So give as you can over there. I don't know what else to do except to give some love and maybe give some money to a family that's in need. That they truly lost. You know, when we see these things, and I don't mean to be that guy, but you see people on television, and you know, I understand in the moment when your house gets destroyed, right? You're like, I've lost everything, and you see that, you hear that phrase a lot. I've lost everything. Cheryl Lovett did lose everything.
That's correct.
That family did lose everything.
That's correct.
When you lose a family member, that's the one thing that we can't repair, that we can't rebuild, and so we need to give as we can. One
of the most important things, as myself and Senator Hensley believe, is we've gone out there and just sat with families and just let them talk to us. You know, and I think that is comforting to people, is that you're just going out there to say, I'm here, let's talk.
They want to relate the story.
Right, and they want to tell what happened to them.
Right.
And they want to say it over and over and over, and that's fine. That's the healing process. And let them walk you around the yard and let them explain to you that how their heart's broken. And there was a family that just moved here from Arizona. They found their retirement home. They built this beautiful log home, and the tornado came right through them, about 35 acres. The home has a little bit of damage to it, but every tree in their woods is down. Every tree. And they're looking around going, what do we do?
Well, and when it comes to those families who have such deep roots, you mentioned it at the beginning, and it touches my heart, and I'll tell you why. It's easy for us to say, well, it's just trees. Well, it's just property. But if you've been in a place for 30 or 40 years, those are memories, man. Those are moments in time. Every tree, every corner of that property is a moment in time. I remember, I lost, the greatest man I ever knew was my grandfather, and I lost him in 2015. And he had a reverse mortgage, and we allowed that to go back to the bank, and they're now renting it out. And I hadn't seen, and he had a lot of outbuildings. He had the old kitchen and the old wash house and the old shop back on the back of the property. And I thought I was fine with it. I'm good with it. I'm a grown man. This is life. I'll always have him in my heart. And I went back a couple of years ago, and they had taken down his shop. And I lost it, Scott. I lost my beloved mind, sitting there in my car crying like a baby because they had taken away a cheap, tin outbuilding. But that's not what it was. And I think about the people that lose trees. You mentioned graduation trees and that sort of thing. And you just have to be a human being and give a little of your heart to these folks because they're suffering right now.
So that's what's going on in Maury County right now. You have the phone numbers out there. Come on down if you want to help. There's plenty to do. Like I said, doing a great job. TDOT has been Johnny on the spot removing these thousands and thousands of trees that are everywhere.
Incredible. All right, give the numbers one more time.
I will real quick. Sorry.
Pull those back. No. And once again, it's BR, because several people are asking, BRIELOVETT. If you type that in to GoFundMe, you'll see the page there, and I encourage you to just read the story and do what you feel compelled to do.
And then the two phone numbers for crisis cleanup, if you want to volunteer, it's 615-488-1875, 615-488-1875. And then if anybody has any type of needs that please call 1-800-RED-CROSS for being able to stay somewhere, get fed. Also, the New Lucia Church of Christ has supplies and food, and First Family Baptist Church is feeding anybody that shows up for a meal.
Incredible. Thank you for the update. It's good to see you. I hate it that it's under these circumstances, but I like seeing you without politics on our plate.
True.
You know what I mean?
This is the real job.
Amen. And good work for you and for Joey Hensley. I know y'all have been on the ground and many, many others that are representing that community. Thank you for everything you're doing.
I appreciate it. Thank you.